Last time on Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice. And now, back to Apollo Justice 2. Hey, what's happening? Welcome back to more Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice. Last time we left off, we started the DLC case, and Larry got married, except he didn't. And Edgeworth is the prosecutor, and there's time travel, and I don't know what's going on. But I'm pretty sure the killer is the butler, because when is it not the butler? I'm sure Edgeworth is gonna yell at me though and be like, time travel? Are you stupid? And yeah, so that's about it. Defendant lobby number 3.
Good morning, Mr. Wright.
Good morning, Ellen. I see you're still wearing your wedding gown.
And I'll continue wearing it until our marriage is saved. Oh, Soren!
Oh my god, it has been 10 seconds. Oh.
You think you can see how she's holding up? Sorry, you came all the way to the courthouse to see me. I'm sorry, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't really care. Blueprints.
Huh?
The engine blueprints. I can't find them. Do you know where they are?
Oh, they're in your room. Third shelf from the bottom on the right-hand side.
Ah, I see. Wow. He's leaving already.
Don't tell me you can't just ask about some stupid blueprints. Is he really that cold of a person, or is this how he just comes off, I wonder? What about me, Soren?
Ellen. He's back. Come home soon. I'm lost without you. Aww.
Soren!
I love that crying face. It's so funny looking. Later. Alright, well he's not heartless.
Looks like showing your vulnerabilities is the fastest way to capturing a woman's heart. You should take notes on this, Nick.
Please leave me out of this. Anyway, looks like Soren isn't big on words. But it's clear that he cares about Ellen. Knowing that, I actually feel kinda relieved.
Mr. Wright, this absolutely cannot be found guilty, you hear me?
Don't worry, I'm gonna do everything I can to prove your innocence.
Thank you, Mr. Wright.
The trial's about to begin, sir. God dang it, Phantom. Edgeworth, my arch nemesis. Knowing him, he's not gonna yield an inch. So we've just gotta fight with everything I've got and save Ellen. Wait, Maya, what were your love tips? I'm going up against Edgeworth. I'm gonna need them.
Wait, what?
September 22nd, 9. Wow, we're starting on the dot today, 9 a.m. Woo! Well, I was like ready. I had my watch on. I was like, the moment it's 9 a.m., I'm gonna start this. Are you ready? Let the doors open. Yes! Course down session. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. I also, why do I take off my glasses for court? I'm just like, you know, I like seeing, but not in court. Seeing so many familiar faces gathered together like this, I feel as though I'm at a grand reunion. Makes me want to go out for dinner and a drink and reminisce with all ya.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea. I was dying for a real burger the whole time I was away.
We can make it a welcome back party for Maya. How about it, Edgeworth? I have no intention of cavorting with my enemies. Now then, Your Honor, let us start this trial at once. Oh-ho! Still not one for lighthearted banter, are you, Mr. Edgeworth? Huh. Jokes and good humor are beyond worthless in a court of law.
Guess we'll just have to have the party without him, then.
Well, no! I still want to go! However, we're out after the He's like, wait. What? After the conclusion of this trial, I might consider joining you for your little welcome back party. I certainly wouldn't mind an invite at the very least.
He's still as emotionally constipated as ever, I see.
Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please go over the details of this case for us. The victim was Dumas Gloomsbury, his servant in the Sprocket household. He was in attendance at the wedding reception that occurred from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Mr. Gloomsbury apparently felt some animosity towards Ellen Watt, and so, a bit after the reception ended at 10 p.m., he assaulted Miss Watt with the intent to kill her. The defendant fought back and ended up killing Mr. Gloomsbury. In other words, it was justified self-defense, correct? If that's the case, then the defendant might not be criminally responsible. He's right. Worst case scenario, I could go for self-defense to avoid the criminal charge. Wonder how Edgeworth plans to counter that, though. Prosecution's first witness will make my view on the matter clear, Your Honor. Very well. Bailiff, please bring in the first witness.
Yes, Your Honor.
Who are you?
You don't remember me? I'm the guy who got shot in the middle of the courtroom.
Oh yeah, I remember you. Oh my god, it's Emma Skye. Who would have guessed? Please state your name and occupation, witness. Also, I just realized, in the cutscene after the game ended, wasn't I like, wait, or wasn't, he's like,
I'm gonna be in Current E for a bit, so I'll see you guys eventually.
And he was like, alright, well, I'll work with you when you come back. And it may seem like she's gonna be gone for a long time, but it's been like, what, a couple months?
Emma Skye, if you don't know who I am, then oh my god, forensic investigator. And I'd just like to say, sir, that being in the same courtroom as you is a great honor.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, she hasn't been in a trial with him since like, what, 12 years ago? Oh, that's right. You're a fan of Edgeworth, aren't you, Emma?
We're good friends and all, Mr. Wright. But Edgeworth is way cooler. But just this once, I intend to faithfully and fully testify for the prosecution. And I do mean that wholeheartedly.
I expect no less from you.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna do my very best. Looks like you lost the popularity contest to Mr. Edgeworth, Nick.
Meh. I really could care less. Besides, Chelsea is the better lawyer once I win this trial.
Yeah, and maybe then you'll actually really care less.
Now, Detective Skye, if you please. Alright, let's go. Witness testimony! Rundown of the case.
The murder weapon was a clock called the Timekeeper. The victim was hit with it from behind, and he fell over right into the lantern. The defendant was spotted then, standing in front of the body holding the murder weapon. The victim was struck twice, by the way.
He was struck twice?
That's right. There's no mistake about it. Let me get out my phone in court. The first blow was to the back of the victim's head. It was hard enough to knock him unconscious. Yet, despite the fact that he had been immobilized by the first blow, the defendant delivered a second fatal blow to the side of the victim's head.
Which means... what exactly? Oh, you're such a fool, Wright? I figured I would go right over your head. Let's put it this way. By striking the victim a second time, the defendant killed her last chance to escape from any criminal wrongdoing. She did? But how, Mr. Edgeworth? The defendant may have been fighting back because she was being attacked. However, she then went on to deliver a fatal blow to a man who was already fully unconscious.
Nick, is he saying what I think he is?
I don't feel so well. Slam my desk! Do you have anything to say? Sorry, it's been a while since I slammed my desk. I forgot how good it felt. Right there. It just slams it again. And thus, Mr. Wright, has justified self-defense been removed from the table. Prosecution intends to prove that the defendant killed the victim with murderous intent. Allow me to belatedly submit the victim's autopsy report. I bid you adieu. God dang it. So that's why he was acting all smug. Well, more smug than usual.
It's fine, right?
I'm Phoenix Wright, and I'm fine!
It's not like we were going to plead self-defense anyway, right?
Right, but now the judge has a negative impression of Ellen. Huh. He may not get to prosecute much anymore, but he definitely hasn't lost his touch. Oh! Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Or not, I don't really care. Do whatever you want. Cross-examination. Wow. 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 But there was debris on top of him, you fool. Well, that was easy. Detective Sky, I'm afraid I have to apologize in advance.
For what?
For embarrassing you in front of your idol.
What do you mean?
If you take a look at this photo of the crime scene, you'll see that the victim is lying on his back. But if the victim had been hit from behind, as you claim, then he should have fallen over into the lantern face down.
Ah!
It's not enough to simply take someone's side, Detective Sky, even if it's Mr. Edgeworth. There does appear to be a flaw in Detective Sky's testimony.
Hold it, Mr. Wright. If you think I'm going to just back right down, then you're sadly mistaken.
It was unusually fired up today.
Don't forget, she's in front of her hero, Nick. If the Steel Samurai came to watch this trial, I'd want to do my absolute best too. Listen, Mr. Wright. It's entirely possible that the defendant moved the victim's body after he fell over. In that case, there wouldn't be any contradiction, right?
Indeed. That was an excellent counter-argument, Detective.
You can count on me, sir. So, what do you have to say to that, Mr. Wright?
That's not possible because there's stuff on top of it. It's not possible. Sorry, Detective, but there's no way the victim's body was moved after his death.
Oh, really? And what makes you so sure?
One look at this here and it should become obvious. The thing on his...
Those broken bits of lantern?
Yes, if the body had been moved after the fact, those fragments would have fallen off of it. But as you can clearly see, they're lying perfectly undisturbed on top of the body. This means that the victim must have been lying face up from before the lantern even broke.
You're right! But wait a minute. If that's true, then when was the victim killed? I mean, the lantern was still whole during the reception, right?
Right, which means we just overturned a major assumption about this case. If the victim was already dead before the lantern was ever broken, then the body must have been inside the lantern since before the reception started. Slam my desk! In other words, the defense asserts that the victim was killed before the wedding reception. What? In short, when Miss Watt was seen standing in front of the body after the reception, it wasn't the moment just after the murder was committed. It was the moment she happened to discover the body, just as Miss Watt claims.
Ah!
Objection! Oh god, I forgot Kyle Abad plays me in this. Huh. Whether the act was committed before or after the reception is entirely inconsequential. After all, it was the defendant who prepared the reception hall for the event in question. Therefore, when the murder occurred, changes nothing with regard to her guilt. She could have killed the victim before the reception, as you claim, and then tried to hide his body in the lantern after the event ended. Objection! Sorry, but that doesn't make any sense. I mean, where would the body have been hidden during the reception in your scenario? That's... Even you have to admit, Mr. Edgeworth, that this has opened up a new possibility. To explain, Mr. Wright. Well, if Miss Watt didn't commit the crime in the reception hall, then that means someone, somewhere, put the victim's body into the lantern. I suppose that makes sense. A dead body couldn't have put itself in there. Exactly, Your Honor. In other words, if the murder actually occurred before the reception, it opens up the possibility that... if the body was hidden inside the lantern, then it's possible that the body was moved along with it from somewhere else.
Oh, you're right.
You can run that mouth of yours all you want. But do you have any evidence to support what's coming out of it, Mr. Wright? Of course I do. I think the answer lies in that piece of evidence, and in something that was left at the crime scene that will point us to where the victim was really killed. Very well, Mr. Wright. In that case, what proves that the lantern and the body were moved from somewhere else?
The photo of the victim again?
Yes. I'd like the court to focus on this thing right here. Okay, now can I say the flower petals?
Flower petals, Mr. Wright?
Thank God! These petals are from a kind of flower that were not present in the reception hall. This means they must have gone on the lantern when it was somewhere else. And just where do you propose this somewhere else to be, Mr. Wright? I propose that this piece of evidence will tell us where the flower petals came from. Please take a look at the flowers in this picture of the hold. Notice how their petals are of the same shape as the petals in the crime scene photo. Yes, I see. They do look to be from the same kind of flower. Objection. Huh. Is that really all you've got? Flower is a flower is a flower. They're all the same. I would hardly call what you presented compelling evidence. I'm afraid I couldn't disagree with you more, Mr. Edgeworth. I gave a flower of this type to my lovely wife once when we were young. So I can assure you this is very meaningful and compelling evidence indeed. The soundness of my judgment in this matter is backed by nothing less than pure love. But Your Honor... Let it go, Mr. Edgeworth. It's clear you don't know much about flowers. It's not like you have anyone you'd actually give any to, after all. Maybe you should study up on them, just in case the opportunity presents itself. This from the man who only knows the name of 3 types of flowers. That's hardly relevant to the case at hand. The defense asserts that it's highly probable that the victim was killed in the hold. If the body was then placed in the lantern and moved to the reception hall for some reason, it would completely destroy the prosecution's case.
Do you mean the body was...
Yes, the victim's body was... inside the lantern during the entire beautiful wedding reception, while the defendant and her betrothed were celebrating their love. What?
Objection.
Your smooth talking might work on His Honor, but it won't work on me. What the doodle nuggets are you talking about now? Take another look at all the evidence and you'll soon see what I mean. I wish you would just tell me already. Detective Sky, I'm sure you've already figured out what I'm talking about, correct?
Of course, sir. Mr. Wright is the only one here who hasn't. Why don't you leave this to me, Mr. Edgeworth?
Very well. Let's see what you can do. Ah! Detective Sky, please give your testimony to this court. Alright, let's go. Witness testimony. They're gonna say, but he was there, right? The prosecution's rebuttal.
The victim could not have been killed before the reception. The autopsy report states that the estimated time of death was after the reception. And that estimated time of death is correct. There's no way it could be wrong.
Except for the fog machine.
It's clear Mr. Gloomsbury was killed after the reception, and that completely contradicts your claim.
I guess so. Tell me you took at least a cursory glance at the autopsy report, Mr. Wright. It appears you've grown rusty since our last outing. Might I suggest you go back and brush up on the basics. I was gonna say, might I suggest you go back to piano playing? Sure, though I must say, you're as cocky as ever, Mr. Edgeworth. I beg your pardon.
What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright?
I'm just saying that I'll go back to basics if that's what Mr. Edgeworth wants. I'll prove how badly he's underestimating me with a good old-fashioned cross-examination. I'm angry at you now, Wright. Ah, very well. Let's see you put your money where your mouth is, Mr. Wright. God, the rivalry is even tighter here than when you fought Apollo. I know. And that was like, holy crap levels of rivalry. At least on my side. I don't know, Apollo was pretty like, I don't want to do this, but Phoenix was like, no! I think he was getting into it.
Objection!
I admit that the estimated time of death does contradict my theory.
Finally! And that means your theory that the victim was killed before the reception
is still entirely plausible.
Huh? What makes you think that?
The killer could have falsified the time of death by using a certain item in the reception hall. Please take a look at this. I want the doodle nuggets as that contraption, Mr. Wright. Stop saying doodle nuggets. It's a fog machine, Your Honor, used to create a special romantic atmosphere in the hall. And this machine could have been used to falsify the time of death? Yes, Your Honor, because this machine uses dry ice to perform its magic. Dry ice? Ah, yes, the super cold stuff commonly used to make theatrical fog, right? I see, so your claim is that the dry ice was used to keep the body cold.
Oh. In that case, I guess the victim could have been killed before the reception.
Oh, eat that, Edgeworth, in your face! Order! Order in this court! I swear to God, I will throw my gavel at you! Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do you have to say about this development?
That the victim was killed in the hold before the wedding reception. The prosecution acknowledges the possibility of this claim.
Now we're getting somewhere.
The prosecution would also like to thank you, Mr. Wright.
Huh? For what?
I didn't know how a certain piece of evidence fit into this case, but now, thanks to you, I do.
Oh, what piece of evidence?
To get into the hold, one needs a key card like this one. And here we have a record of those who entered the hold with such key cards. The times aren't unspecified, but these are the last 3 entries on the day of the murder. And as you can see, the last person to enter the hold that day was the defendant.
What? So the one who moved the body out of the hold must have been...
That's right. It was none other than the defendant. Hey Nick, take a look at this entry record. There are a couple other names on here besides Ellen's.
Hey, you're right!
According to the entry record, Mr. Edgeworth, Pierce Nickety had also gone into the hold. Isn't it possible that he could have been the culprit? Objection! Sorry, but Mr. Nickety was escorting a few of the guests at the time. I'm sure they would be happy to testify to that fact if you'd like. Think me cocky all you'd like, right? But my confidence is rarely misplaced.
Ugh!
Now then, it's probably safe to assume that after killing the victim in the hold, the defendant moved his body to the hall in order to dispose of it discreetly.
What do you mean by discreetly?
The defendant volunteered to take care of the reception cleanup personally. That means she would have had the chance to dispose of anything in any way she wanted, including taking the lantern off the airship without raising any suspicion. Don't tell me you didn't know about Miss Watts volunteering for cleanup duty, Mr. Wright. Well, as necessary in a Strachan household, I'll have to take on the preparation and clean up the reception banquet.
I see. Slam my desk. Oh, slam my desk.
Look at you, sweating buckets like a rookie, even after all these years. Nevertheless, thank you for proving that the only person who could have killed the victim in the hold is
Ellen Watt. Ah! Great job, Phoenix. Now we're back to square one.
Oh, it's been a while since I've done that, huh? Perhaps you should ask Miss Sykes for some help in reviewing Defense for Dummies. Way to go, sir. You got Mr. Wright in a cold sweat. I wonder if maybe the promise of seeing that miserable look on his face is what brought me back to court today. It certainly made all my stress and woes as chief prosecutor just melt away. I guess he had a lot of stress built up.
I'll give him something to stress over before we're through today.
Your Honor, the prosecution asks that you render your verdict at this time. Before that man over there tries to throw the court in the chaos with his meaningless bluffs.
I see. Mr. Wright? Are there any last meaningful bluffs you'd like to present to this court? Why does he have to assume it'll be a bluff?
Nick, hurry up and throw a good one out there.
I will. Slam my desk. Well, alright then. Let's see. I've got it. How do you know it was Miss Watt who used her key card? After all, if it turns out that somebody else used her card, it would mean Miss Watt didn't do it. Interesting. And are you able to prove this bluff to be true? I assure you I'm not bluffing, Your Honor. Well, now what?
Wait a minute, Nick. I can think of a certain somebody who might have used Ellen's key card.
You can? So can I, actually.
Remember? The one who was sneaking around the hold, in spite of not being a family member.
Oh yeah. Your Honor, the defense would like to call a certain witness to the stand. I need the testimony of this person who may have entered the hold with Miss Watt's card.
No. Are you saying that numbskull was on the airship? He never breathed a word about that to me.
That's not surprising, because Mr. Nickety told him to keep quiet about it. Sorry, but I have to do it. But Mr. Butts himself admitted it to me. He claimed to have found a way to sneak into the Flying Chapel's hold to see Miss Watt. This photo he took and gave me is proof. Then it was he who moved the lantern with the body inside to the reception hall. You know as well as I that with him, anything is possible. And this is one possibility we should definitely look into. I can't believe this. What in the world is he doing mixed up in this? Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. Remember what we've been saying since elementary school? Say it. When something smells, it's usually the butts. Exactly. Ah! That Larry, he'll pay for this! Well, if you want to extract your payment now, he's right up there in the gallery. Yikes! Fire left, seize the witness before he makes a run for it. No! Why does this stuff always happen to me? Sorry, Larry, but you brought this on yourself. Let us break for a 15-minute recess. I'll ask that both sides prepare for the next witness's testimony during this time. Ah! Everybody get out of my courtroom now!
Wow, it's been a while since I had this much fun and excitement. Face off against Mr. Edgeworth, a harrowing tightrope walk for the defense.
Woo! I'm exhausted already.
Boss, I'm here for moral support.
Athena, are you all done practicing for Trucy's magic show?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I sorta ran away. But that's because she was putting my life in danger, I tell you.
I see. I think I'll need to have a one-on-one with her. You're really athletic and fit, Athena, so Trucy probably thinks she can run you ragged.
That may be true, which is why not even Trucy can keep up with me when I run at full speed. Ha! Looks like you spoke too soon, Athena. Never underestimate the resourcefulness of a great magician. Huh? Ba-ba-ba! Magic Girl Trucy Wright is on the scene! No! Now, Athena, it's time to practice human combustion magic. Go on, just open this gasoline. But don't worry, it's a magic trick after all, so it's perfectly safe. Run away! Hey you, you're not getting off that easily.
And that's our excuse for why we won't be using the moon matrix.
They get along so well, don't they?
Sure.
Reminds me of the good old days. You, me, and Pearlie. Oh, and Detective Gumshoe. Can't forget him. He had all kinds of fun at the crime scenes back then, remember?
Leave me to do all the serious investigating, as I recall. Court will now be back in session, Mr. Wright. Right, thank you. Wait, are you the Phantom?
So Larry's the next witness, right? Can't wait to see what happens.
Sadly, you can already imagine it. I already know he's gonna be lying. I don't know why. We're gonna have to tear it out of him. He probably tried to hook up with someone and then they dumped him and now he's embarrassed, so now we're gonna have to expose that for everyone in the courtroom to see. Court will now reconvene. Nick, Angie, the two of you are gonna hang me out to dry, aren't you? No, not the both of us. Just Mr. Wright. Nick, how could you? I don't really think he did, of course, but I gotta use whatever leads I can. Mr. Butts, there's a possibility you moved the lantern that had the dead body in it. So if you want to clear yourself of any suspicion, all you have to do is testify. Now then, your testimony, please, witness. I didn't do the thing you telling people I did. Nick is a jerk face! Nick, you big fat stinking jerk! How can you tell your best bud? We've known each other since elementary school. Well, get this, pal. Our friendship's over. Well, go ahead, Mr. Wright. He's all yours. Why me? You're the one who called him to the stand, so he's your responsibility. Thanks, old chum. Can't any of you show me a little respect? Even just a shred? You may cross-examine the witness, Mr. Wright. I would, if there were any testimony to cross-examine. I'm sorry, Mr. Butts, but if it wasn't Miss Watt that entered the hole with that card, then you're the most likely suspect.
Nick, are you seriously doubting the innocence of your childhood friend?
Well, technically yes. But it isn't personal, I assure you.
Aww, a true friend would believe in me no matter what. Can't you see my tears? Don't they mean anything to you? Nick! Nick!
You don't really think you can cry your way out of this, do you? Okay, fine. In that case... Come off it, Larry. If you don't quit fooling around and start testifying, Miss Watt will be found guilty.
For real?
If no new information comes out of this cross-examination, then yes, Mr. Butts, for real.
Not that I would have a problem with that myself.
Larry, just tell us the truth already. Did you or didn't you go into the hole to move a lantern up to the reception hall?
I never moved a bull lantern, I tell you.
Bull lantern?
What? Did I say something weird?
You told me that you didn't attend the wedding reception. Oh.
Can you believe they told me only family and relatives could attend? They wouldn't even let me into the reception hall. Yeah, so what?
Then that's odd. No one in this courtroom ever mentioned the sex of the lantern that was being moved, so how could you know it was a bull lantern?
You didn't have to actually go to the reception to know that. Anyone can tell there were two Pegables by looking at the Flying Chapel's pamphlet.
All I can tell right now is that there's a strong scent of bull in the air here. Please add that last statement to your testimony, Mr. Butts. Anyone could tell there were two Pegables by looking at the Flying Chapel's pamphlet.
Objection!
I want you to take a look at this, Mr. Butts. Because unfortunately for you, the pamphlet clearly shows a peg of cow and a peg of bull in their example diagram of the reception hall.
Huh?
But on that day, instead of putting a peg of cow and peg of bull out for the bride and groom, there were two male Pegables on display. Yet somehow, you knew there were two Pegables in the reception hall that day. Slam my desk! There's only one way you'd know something like that, Larry. It was you who moved the Pegable to the reception hall, wasn't it? No! Larry, you didn't...
Well, Mr. Butts, did you move the lantern containing the victim's body to the reception hall? That's what it looks like.
What?
Even as like, no, stop being a part of these cases. Wait, Nick, you don't think I'm the murderer, do you?
Maybe you and Mr. Gloomsbury are fighting over Miss Watt, and you ended up killing him.
Maya, not you too. Look, I did sneak into the reception, but that's as far as it went. You know me, I wouldn't own a fly.
You snuck into the reception?
Yeah, sure, but some of this Frockerman cod locked me up in one of the cabins. It was pretty awful, actually. That's when I made that drawing of the pterodactyl I showed you, Nick.
Ixnay on the Aerodactyl pate, Larry.
Mr. Wright, not even you would take this farce that far, would you?
We are talking about Larry. What do I do? Do I accuse Larry of being the true culprit?
No, of course not.
No, you're right, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Butts didn't have a reason to kill Mr. Gloomsbury. He might have had an imaginary reason to kill Soren Sprocket, sure, but not Mr. Gloomsbury.
After all, you did steal Mr. Sprocket's bride and try to elope with her.
Just because I tried to steal somebody's bride doesn't make me a murderer.
I believe you, Larry, and I don't think you killed anybody either. You would never do anything like that.
Nick, old buddy, old pal, I knew you'd come through for me.
Funny that, considering your sworn testimony just now that we were through.
Mr. Butts, it's time you told this court the whole truth, understood?
Witness testimony.
Well,
Moving the lantern.
it's just like Nick said, I'm the one who moved the lantern. I was poking around the reception hall before the main event and saw a lantern was broken. There was a note on it that said, exchange with the one in the hold, Ellen. So I decided to do Ellie a favor.
Da-da, da-da. So you switched the lanterns before the reception, did you? And that means the victim really was killed before the reception. Boom. Huh. Oh, you just proved my theory, Larry. It would appear that Mr. Butts completely fell for the defendant's scheme. Scheme? What scheme? This note from the defendant, exchanged with the one in the hold, Ellen. Mr. Butts moved the lantern with the body up to the reception hall because of this note. And thus, he has become a suspect in Mr. Gloomsbury murder. Aw, that second lantern did feel pretty heavy, but I never would have thought there was a dead body in it. What was that note like that doing on the lantern in the first place?
Hold it. You got it all wrong, Mr. Endworth. I have that note for myself. It was simply a reminder because I can be very forgetful.
Objection. What a sorry excuse, Miss Watt. The prosecution contends that this note shows one facet of the defendant's murderous plan, and you, Mr. Butts, you played right into Miss Watt's hand. No way, Edgy! I don't believe it! Objection! Do you still really believe Miss Watt to be the culprit, Mr. Edgeworth? Huh. Of course. My stance on the matter remains unchanged. If you think I'm wrong, then prove it with your cross-examination. Gladly. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. I can tell, when Phoenix is really confident, it's giving you a hint that you already have, there's a contradiction in it. Nobody saw you the whole time while you were switching the lanterns. Nope, I didn't get caught. Not that time, anyway. Not that time. Yeah, when I tried to sneak into the reception hall the first time, I didn't have as much luck. The Sprocky guy spotted me and nabbed me. All of my words are failing me right now. Pretty exciting, don't you think? Larry, you need help. And then they locked me up in one of the cabins. Nick, what are you asking about stuff like this for anyway? Shouldn't you be trying to prove Ellie's innocence? Well, is that statement of his important to this case? Of course it's totally important. Mr. Butts trying to crash the reception and subsequently getting locked up in a cabin. I believe these might be important facts in this case, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Butts, please add that statement to your testimony. I tried to sneak into the reception hall, but I got caught and locked up in a cabin. So you got locked up. Then what happened? I broke out. Then I started looking for Ellie and wandered into the reception hall again. That's when I saw the broken lantern and replaced it. Even after they caught you and locked you up, you still went looking for Miss Watt? But hold on a minute.
What is it, Nick?
Maya, doesn't something seem weird to you? Larry's saying he replaced the lantern after he broke out of the cabin.
That's right. Oh, wait. Huh? You're right. Doesn't make much sense, does it?
Mr. Wright, have you found an inconsistency in the witness's statement? Yes, I believe so, Your Honor. Mr. Butts moved the lantern after he broke out of the cabin, but that contradicts with this. The broken lantern. Is that? Yes, it's the broken lantern, Your Honor. Mr. Butts, what you're saying doesn't make any sense at all. What? Why not? You swapped the lanterns before the reception began, right? Yeah, that's what I said, isn't it? Well, you also just said that you swapped the lanterns after you got locked up in a cabin for trying to sneak into the reception. In other words, you're saying you swapped the lanterns both before the reception and after the reception took place. That certainly doesn't make any sense, does it? Mr. Butts, did you swap the lanterns before or after the reception? Which was it? Before or after? There's a world of difference between the two. Well, Mr. Butts? I guess I can't expect guys like you to understand. In a nutshell, it was both before and after the expression. I tried to sneak into the first reception and got locked up. The first reception? Uh-oh, I don't like where this is going. Yeah, the more I thought about it, I think what's gonna turn out to be, I don't think there's ever actually any time travel. I think I think they did it twice for some reason. Like that was part of his evil mastermind plan or something. Then, through the power of Ellie's pendant, time got rewound, and we went back to the time before the reception. It was after that when I replaced the lantern, so it was both before the reception and after the reception. Get it? Went back in time to before the reception, so of course the reception would take place one more time after that, right? That's why I said it makes perfect sense. Mr. Wright, what in the world is the witness talking about? Has he developed some sort of intellectual ailment I'm not aware of since I last saw him? Well... None of us rockets seem to remember the time skip, but I do. And Ella remembers it too. I think the power of our love for each other made that miracle happen. Mr. Wright, I'm sorry, but could you please translate this man's gibberish so the rest of us can understand? So now I have to be the one to explain about the whole time travel thing? Go on, Nick. I know you can do it.
Looks like you don't have much choice, Nick.
To heck with it. I can't lose any more of my dignity today anyways. The defendant, Miss Ellen Watt, has told the defense the following strange story. She said that after the reception ended, she was attacked by Mr. Gloomsbury. She claims that as she was being assaulted, she made a wish upon her pendant. Please, take me back to that blissful moment. In doing so... Time apparently rewound itself to just before the reception began. It what? I know it's hard to believe, but think about it this way. Through the power of the pendant, both Ellen Watt and Larry Butts experienced time travel! What?
Objection!
I don't even know what's making that noise. What absolute rubbish! Mr. Wright, I've heard my fair share of your nonsense over the years, but this takes the cake. Have you thoroughly lost your mind? But this is simply the conclusion I came to, using that logic ability you love so much. What? No! Look, no! The truth of the matter is, the future president of Sprocket Aviation, Soren Sprocket, has been researching time machines. So what if a time machine has already been successfully created? Hey, what if that's one of Sprocket Aviation's top secret inventions? A time machine? Yeah, I even saw something while we were time traveling. I saw a pterodactyl flying through the air. Maybe the airship was set to travel through time for their honeymoon trip. What? A pterodactyl? Objection! You can't possibly have any evidence to back up your ridiculous time travel story. Well, that was a funny joke, right? As I thought. In any case, I now have the evidence to prove that you're no more intelligent than a Larry. Hold it! Not so fast now, Edgy. I'm not the same old Larry you used to know. Oh. Want evidence? I got your evidence right here! This is a photo I secretly took at the first reception. What? What? Larry, I can't believe you... Well, anyway, good job! If we compare the photos of the first and second receptions and can find a difference, then we'll be able to prove that the reception was held twice. But do you really think such a difference exists? Yes, Your Honor. I just need some time to find it for you. This is preposterous! Very well. Please show the court what's different then. Oh, I bet you the flowers she's holding are different, right? Please direct your attention to Miss Watt's bouquet of flowers. In the photo one of her in-laws took, the defendant is holding a very yellow bouquet. But in the photo Mr. Butts took, she is holding a red bouquet.
You're right.
That's impossible! Well, what does this mean? Slam my desk. It means the defendant really did experience 2 wedding receptions, and she did that when she traveled back through time. What? No. God dang it, why can't I ever get a stupid, simple case?
Nick, you did it. You proved Ellen's time travel story to be true.
Yeah, I can hardly believe it myself. It's just as Ellen said. The reception was held twice. This turns every assumption we based this trial on upside down. Objection! Hold on. I need to level everything out for a second. None of this makes any sense. You don't make sense, right? I refuse to accept such a ludicrous argument. It is pure fiction under the guise of pseudoscience at best. There's simply no such thing as time travel. I know it's hard, but can't you suspend your disbelief for 1 nanosecond, Edgeworth?
I bet sci-fi movies push all your buttons the wrong way, don't they, Mr. Edgeworth? I can totally picture you yelling, "That'd never happen," every 5 seconds at the screen. Maybe you should stay away from movie dates altogether.
That's neither here nor there. This is real life we're talking about. Well, the proof is clearly shown in the 2 photographs. That's right, Mr. Edgeworth. No matter how it slam my desk. Fine, I'll entertain your absurd delusion, if only to demolish it before your very eyes. What? Let's start with this then, shall we? There's one thing your time travel theory fails to explain. And that is the memories of the other guests there. The defendant and Larry remember the reception occurring twice, but no member of the Sprocket family has ever mentioned such a thing. That's because the time machine is classified Slam my desk. I'm not done, you bird brain. Bird brain? As I was saying, if the entire family had been sworn to secrecy, then why hadn't they sworn to the woman who was marrying into the family to secrecy too? That's a good point. Honestly, all it takes is a little common sense, Mr. Wright. Even still, how do we know that the trip through time did not really occur? There is proof in the photos that it did. And besides, if the time travel doesn't exist, well, I'd be a little disappointed, frankly. I was hoping to go back to the days of my youth. You mustn't allow yourself to be taken in by Mr. Wright's whimsical tales, Your Honor. I've read about it in various literature, you see. And they all say that time travel is just not logically feasible.
Maybe our argument was just a little too nonsensical, Nick.
Well, in that case, why don't we put common sense to the test? Excuse me? The wedding reception was held twice. The photos are proof of that. But it wasn't because of time travel. It's simply because the reception had actually been held twice. Isn't that the most reasonable way to interpret the situation? Would you care to elaborate, Mr. Wright? This is what I've been saying the whole time. If time travel doesn't exist, then there's only one way to make sense of what happened. Somebody must have orchestrated this strange phenomenon, and that somebody is... Slam my desk. What if all of the guests at the reception conspired together to hold the reception twice and keep quiet about it? What? And for what purpose would they conspire to do such a thing? Well, a brilliant deduction defense. I knew it. I can tell that you are not a renowned lawyer for nothing. I must say, I underestimated you. How so, Mr. Nickety? You have managed to name each event precisely as they happened. You have revealed it all to the light of day. Then, that means... It was us. We orchestrated the whole thing. Yes, the reception was held twice, but not because of the time travel, no. We simply held it a second time. What? Why? Why would you do such a thing? It's making as though the murder Miss Ellen committed never happened. Ugh! Master Soren figured that if Miss Ellen, who'd killed Gloomsbury after the first reception, experienced the reception one more time, she would think it was all a dream. It was he who ordered us to make it happen. However, only a few, myself included, knew of Miss Ellen's crime. Are you saying most of the guests attended 2 receptions without knowing why? Indeed, they needed no reason. Master Soren told them to do it, and do it they did. That is the Sprocket way. Then who hid the body in the lantern? We did. But we did not anticipate the Pendles finding their way in, nor all the actions of Mr. Butts. And that's how you intended to cover the whole situation up? There's just one thing everyone here has wrong. The real scene of the murder was not the hold, it was the Vista deck. What? Then Miss Watt's recollection of the events must be correct. I admit, we tried to cover this incident up, but the fact that Miss Ellen killed Gloomsbury is undeniable. That is quite a turn of events. And so it appears we have arrived at the truth at last. Now, please do feel free to travel back in time, Mr. Wright, and attempt to do this trial over again. Go on. Alright, let's not get hasty, Edgeworth. I bet you can't do it! I bet I can't either! Your Honor, we will have to hold a separate trial for the cover-up conspiracy later, but as far as this case goes, I believe we are ready for a ruling. Slam my desk. Just before the defendant lost consciousness during her attack, she says she saw someone strike the victim. It's possible that this third party is the true culprit. You still want us to believe the defendant's words? Perhaps you've lost more than your touch during your time abroad. This third person nonsense is nothing but rubbish, and you know it. But by the same token, how can we trust those who conspired and lied to fool this court of law? For all we know, they might still be hiding something. Ugh, you never know when to quit, do you? Now, calm down, both of you. I'm the adult in this relationship. In any case, there isn't enough trustworthy evidence yet for me to render a verdict. I suggest we continue the trial after both sides have investigated the matter further. Very well, Your Honor. Whew, that was close. Mr. Nickety, as for you and your cohort's attempt to cover up this crime, your case will be brought to a separate trial following the resolution of this current one. Understood, Your Honor. Well then, this concludes today's trial. Court is adjourned. Wow. Oh my god, a short episode of Phoenix Wright? What is this? Holy crap. I don't know if we've ever had an episode this short in this series. Thank the Lord. Well, I'm going to wrap up today's episode here for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. This case is really picking up. I'm really enjoying it. Honestly, I think the investigations are usually the weaker part of these games, but the trial was so good, and the chemistry between Phoenix and Edgeworth, I don't think will ever be able to be recreated. And they really nailed it in this game. I like this exchange between them way more than I did in Dual Destinies. I'm not sure what's different about it, but something here feels more natural and feels a bit more like the past, and I can definitely see how this case is very fan servicey and like, everybody's back, you know, it's all back to the way it used to be, and you know what? That's okay. I'm fine with that. I am completely fine because I'm so happy playing this right now. But yeah, hope you guys are too, and I'll see you all at the next video. Peace out.